Welcome back, it's 7:10. It's time to speed up HS2, the controversial high-speed rail link. That's the view of the new man in charge, who says it's the only way of keeping the £50 billion costs down.
Well, we're going to be talking to Sir David Higgins, Chief Executive of HS2, in just a moment. First, though, let's go to Gamal Fambula, Gamal, who's in Cheshire, with a family whose house would be demolished to make way for the line. Gamal, what does today's report actually mean for this family?
Well, it's incredibly frustrating for this family and then three other houses in this community. When you receive a note through your letterbox telling you that the house that you're living in is going to be demolished because of the arrival of HS2, well, this is essentially what has happened to three properties in this building. Now, according to the government, the first phase of the project will see a line running from London to Birmingham by 2026. And then today's report says the first phase should be extended to Crewe by 2027, 6 years earlier than planned. And it suggests the second phase, that's to Manchester and Leeds, should be brought forward by 3 years to 2013. Now, Thelma has been living here for more than 40 years, so you can imagine how angry she was when she received this letter. She's also a full-time carer for her son, Alexis. So they can join us now. Hello, guys. Very good morning to you. Thelma, you're clearly shocked about the arrival of HS2, but what is your main concern about it?
The main concern is we've got to start all over again and develop everything we need for Alexis and find the right property if it does go ahead. And it's just a nightmare. I just can't believe it.
And how will HS2 affect his quality of life?
His quality of life will carry on because he's always been involved with us, but it's just the stress and everything and the worry of it all that's going to be a problem.
OK, great stuff. Thank you very much for your time. Well, just so you know, guys, Thelma has been offered compensation to leave this property, but clearly when you've been living here for more than 40 years, that is the last thing you want to hear.
Thank you very much indeed, Gamal. Well, we're joined now by Sir David Higgins, Chief Executive of HS2, and here in the studio is Richard Houghton from the HS2 Action Alliance. Good to see you both. So, David, you're saying today that the building of HS2 is to be sped up, but many people are still asking why we really need this line in the first place. What's it really going to achieve?
It achieves two things. In the bottom end, from London to Birmingham, it takes an existing line which is 170 years old and has all the issues of resilience or lack of it and capacity challenges and duplicates that. And then in the north, it's all about connectivity. It increases speed within the north, but it also critically from the north to London as well.
It's costing an absolute fortune, though. The money could be better spent elsewhere, couldn't it?
Well, the money is spent elsewhere. Historically, we've spent either planned or underway around £80 billion worth of money in rail infrastructure on London-centric schemes. It's time that the North had an investment in rail infrastructure that reflected the economic role that it plays in the country.
What do you say to the family, like the one we've just seen, who are going to lose their home? They've been in that home for 40 years, incidentally. And what about the communities that are going to be completely destroyed by this?
Yeah, I fully understand. There's great concerns about people who are along the proposed route, and as you'll note in my report, I'm not recommending any savings at all in the environmental protections and mitigations that have been put in place, and it is important that people who are affected are notified as soon as possible and a compensation scheme is put in place, and I know the government plans to release that in the next few months.
Well, Richard Houghton from the HS2 Action Alliance is here. Does that make you feel any better, what you've been told? It's going to be quicker. People are going to get compensation. It's all going to be lovely.
No, I'm afraid not. This is the fifth or sixth relaunch we've had of this project, and it doesn't get any better. When you get past the rhetoric, you get down to the details. This is a £50 billion line, one line running to 4 city centres. That's £50 billion, £1,500 for every adult in the country. It's underpinned by a capacity crisis that politicians have created because they really fancy a new shiny train set. We've got £8.3 billion of cuts to existing services as part of the business plan they launched in October. It really doesn't stack up. So if you're leaving home now, one of your viewers are off to get on a busy commuter train, you're not going to get any benefit from this. It's really not going to help you. The budget's They say it's not going to go up, they want to reduce it. They're just suggesting today to cut out the link to HS1 to save 700 million. There's no reduction in budget. So that's got to sell you that this finances are out of control.
And what about the impact on the environment? I mean, that's something that you've been campaigning about, isn't it? And the impact on people generally.
I think people in the environment, I mean, you only have to say, look, the Green Party are against a train project. I think that tells you enough.
Wouldn't they be against it anyway? They'd be against it anyway, no matter what the...
No, the Green Party are very, very pro public transport and trains. That's what they want. They believe that. Only 1% of the passengers are going to transfer from airplanes, only 4% from cars. It's a tiny amount of environmental impact. We're going to pour 20 million tonnes of concrete into the ground. We're going to permanently damage the water supply for the Colne Valley. This is their own figures.
But the argument is that it'll boost northern economies as well.
And, well, our argument would be that why would you connect northern economies to London, an international economy 10 times the size bigger than the nearest city, before you've built a very robust regional infrastructure? Look at the history and what's gone on. If you think that high-speed rail generates really strong economies, Spain's got the biggest high-speed rail network in Europe. It's got one of the poorest economies. It simply isn't the panacea they're claiming.
So, I mean, David Higgins is here. Is there anything that you would like to say to him?
I just think, let's be real about what's underpinning this. This is vested interests wanting to push through a large construction project and a few politicians who want to leave a legacy. And what they need to do is look at where the commuter lines are busy. That's where the growth is. Intercity train transport journeys is flatlining. There just isn't the demand there. You really need to fix those people who are standing onto suburban commuter lines first.